Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to welcome Peter Tilbrook, founder and CEO at Loro Insuretech. Peter, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. Excited about this episode. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, well, SaaS is relatively new to me. I'm an insurance professional through and through, having spent my time both on the broking side and the underwriting side of the insurance world. Originally, as the audience can tell from my accent, in the UK, and then about 6 years ago, moving to Spain to continue the role with a Japanese insurance firm based out of Barcelona. And now I've found myself here in the south of Spain, having started Loro Insuretech.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. I love that. So SaaS is relatively new. So like you said, you're insurance pro. So you were in the insurance industry on the business, say commercial side. And tell us, before we dive into what your company does, where did the idea come from? Because you do see a lot of founders jump from that corporate world, corporate life, and founding their own company. So where was the spark for Loro?
Yeah, I think it's probably a spark that comes from the same source for a lot of people. We were frustrated with the solutions available to us in our industry. And I'm very lucky to have two fantastic co-founders. One was head of IT for the insurance company we were working at for 12 years. And he's a CTO of Loro now, Loro Scandalaftis. And my other co-founder, Diego Silva Villalba, who was also on the business side like myself. And the three of us just thought there was a better way to offer the products that we were seeing and for the business opportunities that were there in front of us. So we wanted to create a SaaS offering that really delivered for the type of client we would have been in that situation.
Interesting. So did you, with your two co-founders, I assume you just talking, chatting, maybe some frustrations, and then eventually it came up, well, let's try to start our own solution. So is this something where you just exited corporate life and jumped right in, or maybe just tried to incubate something on the side and then jump into the role full time?
Very much so. Loris was the first one of us to take the plunge because obviously we needed to build the tech, the concept. So he went away and we founded a team in Guadalajara in Mexico of developers, very talented pool of developers we find located there. And they built this fabulous concept that Diego and I were so impressed with that rather sooner than we probably expected, we decided to take the plunge, as you say, and go full steam ahead with the project and do a pre-seed round and get our MVP out to the market. And yeah, that was a decision that is always tough to leave corporate life, the stability and all the great things that go with it. But I think it was one we were just had so much kind of energy and enthusiasm to go on that we couldn't wait.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. That's exciting. So yeah, let's dive in. Tell us a little bit about the products and services that Loro offers.
Yeah, so we set the rather grandiose, ambitious goal of taking any insurance product anywhere in the world online immediately. And for a lot of the listeners who don't know the world of insurance, that means we have clients that are looking to sell, say, life insurance in Zambia one day to people who are selling commercial products in the US the next, and everything in between. So to create one solution that fits all of those boxes is quite a project and a journey. And the other great thing about Loro is we are completely free to start, which is pretty much unheard of in the Insurtech space. And that means that we're true partners with our insurance users, because the more they use our platform, the greater the revenue for us as they scale through the free tariff to the percentage of premium transacted on the platform. And that's something we were very passionate about. We were frustrated that sometimes software can be a journey, that there's a lot of money paid up front for something and the end delivery is not what the user expects. And we wanted to flip that on its head and start with the partnership model.
Really interesting. So, and when we talk insurance, at least in the US, we can sometimes think medical and health and then commercial. So I assume more like on the commercial side that businesses would be signing up for any sort of, liability insurance, D&O insurance, just anything on that commercial risk side.
Absolutely. I think we're all familiar now, probably more than ever, with D&O, with some of the recent things that have happened, probably notably the Silicon Valley bank case and all the discussions about directors and officers liability there. But yeah, all sorts of specialty lines that until you enter the weird and wonderful world of insurance, a lot of people don't know exists. I mean, we were doing things with kidnap and ransom insurance of people going off to Nigeria, to covering these active, salient, horrific events that happen in the schools, and all sorts of risks. So our platform caters for a whole host of specialty insurance needs.
And I'm curious, has this case come up? Because I don't know much about this, but say marine shipping, sometimes you hear these big freighters sink and they've got hundreds of cars on them and they sink, and all these expensive cars. Do they insure, are the shipments like that, something like that? Do they insure per shipment?
Yeah. So we're actually a worldwide solution. As we said, we've got our product available in Spanish, Italian, French, and Spanish. And the beauty of it is we see risk like that. So we're working with a partner in Italy who's insuring haulier's liability, cargo liability, and they're very much insuring those big big units of things that are going on these cargo ships usually from China to Europe or the US. But
yeah, really interesting. I'm sure you see a lot of different cases there. But tell us a little about your pricing model, because you said there's kind of this free tier, and I saw in your press release up to say 100,000. I don't know which currency it was in, but then so is this a usage-based pricing model? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, probably the thing we've had the most debate on internally has been where to put the pricing model. And quite frankly, it's something we clearly got wrong when we first started the project, because we priced the starting point higher and then the tariffs got lower depending on the use. So we flipped that on its head, that every year the users who use our platform have the first 100,000 of bound premium free. And that resets every year. So if they do $99,999 business, they don't pay Loro a cent. The minute they cross the threshold from 100,000 to 25 million, they pay us 1% of the gross written premium. And then from 25 million onwards, it's 0.1%. And I think I'm proud that we're quite unique in that, because we have our pricing on our website. We apply the same pricing for every client, irrespective of if they're a small insurer in Sudan, to the same extent if they're a major insurer in Mexico. It doesn't matter to us. And that's part of the vision of democratizing access to insurance that we hope to support.
That's great. And so your users coming onto the platform, is there an ideal customer profile? Is it like any business looking for business insurance? Tell us a little bit about like the people coming on. And then are you on the insurer side, are you constantly then adding providers onto your platform?
Yeah, really, the profile of the customer that fits fantastically with us is on the smaller end of the insurance customer. So usually what the industry would call MGAs, cover holders, those types of companies that are effectively writing business for insurers with portfolios under $150 million annually. They fit really well into our model, because they themselves are quite entrepreneurial, quite agile, keen to see the opportunity to take a new product to market quickly or to seize on an opportunity. We still have a long way to go before we talk with the State Farms, the Liberty Mutuals, the Alliances of this world, because they're just a different business. With all the respect in the world to what fabulous organizations they are, they just look at software in a different way to some of the target market we have in mind.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate that insight. So when did you found Loro?
Yeah, the journey. So we officially registered in Delaware in the United States in 2021 of September that year, which is when we coincided with our pre-seed investment round. And then we proceeded through to May of this year, 2023, where we did our seed investment round. So yeah, slowly ticking through the stages of evolution, I suppose.
And tell us a little bit about the Delaware incorporation, because now SaaS global, you start in one region, you start expanding, and you see companies, establish different headquarters, So tell us, was there any process thinking, with that the U.S. incorporation?
Yeah, there was a lot of thinking about that, Ben. To be honest, we initially had thoughts of incorporating in Mexico, where our tech team is based. And the reality was the US stood out for us. One, my partner is based in the US. And two, for things like scaling investment, the ease of doing business, it just led us to register in Delaware. I think that's the biggest consideration for me, was how easily is it. It's hard enough to get people to want to give you money. The last thing you want to do is then add another challenge to actually get their money. So
Yeah.
that was the biggest thing for us.
Yeah, appreciate that insight, and it's definitely something that has to be debated or considered and not just randomly
Absolutely.
selected as you incorporate. So Delaware incorporation, and would you consider that you have a headquarters somewhere, or is it all virtual?
Yeah, so I suppose our business location would be Illinois, because that's where my partner in the US is based. But yeah, we have some plans to expand globally, kind of early stages of that, but certainly some thoughts of where we'd like to have a presence.
Okay.
Makes sense in the medium term to have a footing within the European Union, and I think we like a lot Latin America. We've got our tech team in Mexico, so it makes all the sense in the world to consider that too. But it's interesting. I'm not sure how you find chatting to other people on the show. Certainly the dynamics of number of staff, physical offices, it's not what it used to be. It's not something that's kind of your flagship metrics of your performance as a company. It's slightly, COVID's changed all of that, I suppose.
Yeah, and mostly hybrid, virtual, or maybe it's hard. They can't really pin down an actual location. Well, it's like, well, if we had to say our headquarters, it'd be this, so yeah, very common.
Exactly.
And then what about, you kind of mentioned that, your team size, because early stage SaaS startups, maybe you have a couple, founders, but then you supplement with contractors to scale and hire employees. But tell us about your current team size.
Yeah, currently there's 8 of us. We really like the fact that we're a small team. It means we can be quite intimate in terms of everyone knows everyone. We also have very regular catch-ups. We can do some nice events and get everyone together. And also the way we've built Loro, it's very much on the model that we can onboard multiple clients at the same time relatively easily. It's the kind of software that's intuitive, that the end user can have control of. I suppose what the industry now calls true no code. They come in, click and build and get going. And that's important to us, because we don't want to have endless staff supporting a project that's never ending. It's more about sign up, get going, and we make it as easy as possible for our customers to use our product.
Great. And then of your current team size of 8, is that a lot of the engineers then in Mexico?
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're the absolute heroes of the company, really. They're the brains behind it all. I mean, it's still amazing to me, not having a tech background, that you can come up with ideas and then see it being brought to life right in front of you. So both Loris's CTO and the team have done an amazing job in building what they have.
Okay. And anything you want to share around your current revenue size?
Yeah, we're still very, very small on the revenue. I think we're quite candid with that, partly because of the fact that we've only just done our small seed round, and we have this freemium type model that goes. So yeah, still relatively small, but we're on the smaller side. But we're very hopeful of hitting some quite exciting numbers in the next 12 to 18 months. I think the early client trajectory is pointing in that direction. We've got users across 4 continents on our system. We're onboarding and speaking to clients all the time. So really hopeful that if I ever come again, Ben, we can tell you some very exciting figures.
Yeah,
Right
that'd be
now,
great.
not so exciting.
Yeah, early stage still. And tell us a little bit about your go-to-market motion. How are you finding customers?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. I think doing the startup journey is one of endless learning things that you'd never thought about before. We're so lucky to an extent, because the early investors and a couple of the investors who joined this latest round are absolute titans in our industry. I mean, we've got CEOs of important insurance companies, we've got product leaders. So we lean on the experience around us a lot. We take a lot of feedback about their view on where our product fits, along with our feeling. And we've got quite a big target market space. So lots of industry events, absolutely key. Lots of pushing our network, reaching out to people. And then I think we'll have to look at something a bit more structured and organized in terms of, search optimization, looking at the digital marketing side of it, which quite frankly, we will get some expert advice on, because it's not the kind of thing you can just learn in a day.
Yeah, definitely. I know that from firsthand experience.
Well, you've done a
Great.
fantastic job of it. We're just starting.
Yeah. So how much capital have you raised to date?
Yeah, so in total, we've raised $950,000. Deliberately very lean organization.
Mm-hmm.
We got from the pre-seed to our seed with an investment of just $200,000. And we were really proud of that. I think in the age for VCs to look at companies and expect outrageous burn rates is over. That time has passed. People want to see where every cent is spent and that it's spent wisely. And that's very much our philosophy at Loro.
And tell us a little bit. So 950 in total raise, 200K pre-seed, 750K seed. Tell us your thinking around that, and the triggers or milestones that led to those raises, and just a little of, behind the scenes thinking of, why and you were ready to raise and the need to raise.
Yeah, raising money is not something I thought when we started the company you'd spend so much time thinking about and doing, but it's never far from your thoughts. I'm sure, as you know, even now we've pretty much just closed a round, and everything you think is, how do we go towards this next round? I mean, the most important thing, and it's hard sometimes not to keep this front and center, is creating a product that adds value for your customers. Number one, everything else takes care of itself. But it's natural to, as you said, think about those milestones, those markers that get you to the next investment round. And some important things happened for us before the seed. We felt we'd proven the concept. We had some early adopters in terms of clients that made us think, yes, this is something we truly believe in. We got the software to a stable enough and complete enough stage where we were confident to roll it out more fully. And also we saw the opportunity to invest the money in the areas that were needed to achieve the next step. So I think when the stars align like that, you kind of have a feeling for the time is right.
In the 200K pre-seed round, was there at that point no product? You were just selling that vision to then go build the MVP?
Yeah, what do they say? The friends, family, and fools. No, but they weren't. No, they were very much experts. But yeah, the reality is, I think there was a lot of belief in our background, particularly the Loris and the CTO and the dev and the initial product we built and showcased, and also an understanding from their side of what's missing in the Insurtech and industry space and how successful the idea, the concept could be. And it was really the belief in, I suppose, us, but also the vision that led them to invest in that stage. And I think we're so lucky to have people who back you. And it's what so many entrepreneurs need out there, is just that little bit of belief in them and a little bit of support financially. And little by little, you can make a difference in your area. And that's what we're trying to do.
And I think it's really an important experience to share. So the 200K pre-seed round, you're selling that vision. All right, let's go build the product. And then you had the seed round of 750. So the time in between the 200K and the 750, was that where you saw, say, enough traction, proving the concept, getting feedback? Would you say you had product market fit yet as you're entering the seed round, or still working on product market fit as you raise the seed round?
Yeah, I honestly believe that's something you probably don't stop doing ever, because they were constantly refining what our best market fit is. But certainly we had a much clearer idea of who would be a great user for Loro and where to find them. And the tech improved, the software improved infinitely from pre-seed to seed stage. So we feel we've got a really valuable asset in that in itself. Yeah, lots of interesting things to consider between those two periods. I think that's when you're kind of, it almost feels like the biggest step to get a venture capital firm to back you and to believe in you. And now the pressure's on. Now you've got to prove it.
Definitely. So any fundraising lessons that you'd like to share with the SaaS community from that pre-seed and seed round?
So many. I mean, we didn't know anything about fundraising. We had to learn, what all the terminology is in the space. So I would say speak to as many people as you can. Sounds obvious, but no doubt you have people in your connections or wider life that have gone through similar things. And I think having someone to advise you on their experience and what they went through is just invaluable. And reach out to people. I mean, these people sometimes sound scary, and VCs are very famous for saying, "Here's 10 minutes, wow me," and things like that. But they're human at the end of the day, and they like to hear your story, and they want to invest in you. So I think you've just got to give them a reason as to why you know your space, what your vision is with your product within the space you know so well, and how you want to execute it. And just get used to people saying no, because the vast majority will say no, but you only need one or two to say yes, and you're in business.
Yeah, definitely no on the investor front, no from prospects, and just keep pushing. So great insight there. So at your current stage, is there a favorite number or metric that you're focused on?
User growth is absolutely the one that we look at and we drive. We are great believers that if people see our tech and start using our software, they'll absolutely love it. They'll use it more. But the biggest hurdle, I'm sure it's the same in so many SaaS areas, is getting them to take that first step, believe in it and try it. So that's our biggest objective, is to get users on the platform.
Yeah, definitely. So Peter, really appreciate your time today as we wrap up. What's coming up next for Loro?
Yeah, lots of travel. So we're off to a few of the big kind of industry events that happen in our world. We'll be speaking at ITC Dia in Barcelona next week. Also looking at speaking in the Las Vegas event, sharing again our experience with the industry, and lots of client onboarding. I hope that's the bread and butter of what we do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that sounds exciting. So if listeners would like to learn more about you and Loro, where should we send them online?
Yeah, they can go to our website, loroinsurance.com. They can see the actual evidence that we do show our pricing. And if they want to find out anything about us personally, I'd love people to connect on LinkedIn, follow our page, Loro Insuretech on LinkedIn. We'll try and keep as many real, honest, transparent updates about how the business is going and share our experience. We also love to read about other startups and how they're performing. So hopefully it's something that people find interesting.
That's great. All right. Well, check out Peter and Loro at Loro, Loro insurance.com for more information. And Peter, really appreciate your time today, sharing your story and your journey.
Thanks to you, Ben. Absolute pleasure to come on. Yeah.